Professor O'Kane here, and welcome to episode 4 of What Makes Him So Damn Good. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about singer-songwriter, 6'3" heartthrob, and guitar player extraordinaire John Mayer. We're going to be talking mostly about John's playing. We're going to leave his heartthrobness out of the out of the picture, but we're going to be focusing on his guitar playing specifically. Now, a lot of people might be wondering, why are you talking about John Mayer? Isn't John Mayer the guy who just pretty much plays out of the Stevie Ray Vaughan vocabulary? No. You know, he might have early on, but now he's evolved into a really complex, incredible sounding, blues influenced, he's got this ability to make his playing sound vocal. And aside from that, he's a really smart guy. And it's great to hear some of the things that he's going to be saying in this video. And probably a lot of the stuff you've not heard before. And why have you not heard it before? Because most of this stuff is not, it's definitely not commercially available. And it's just stuff that he's released on his Instagram posts and maybe things that you might have overlooked, but definitely should check out. So let's get right to it. So this is really a simple progression and a lovely progression. It essentially goes from C minor to F minor to B flat to C major. And it kind of never goes back to C minor or C minor 7, which is the voicing that I'm using right here. But you can. And that's fun. That's part of the fun of it. What John does right in the beginning is he goes... And this sort of vibrato is kind of like a free-floating vibrato. You'll see that my hand really isn't touching anything. It's just using the string to kind of load my finger onto. And now I have very low action here, so it's a little bit harder for me. And then directly after that, he goes... Now, you'll notice the difference in the vibrato from the bending in terms of the physicalness. Now, what I mean by the physicalness is that I'm floating here, just counting on the weight of my, the depressing pressure plus my lifting it up and down. But when I get to the bend, I use this fulcrum right here on my forefinger on this part, and that's how I get that particular bend to work. And he does this beautiful move here. He goes, and then again. This time I'm using some pulling down pressure. And again. So he kind of goes into, he goes directly into a minor sound there. Whereas you can go. Beautiful. It's just an absolute beautiful move there. He does something else that sometimes you hear people do with a bend, and he goes so. Which is a very cool thing to do. I guess back in the day, you might hear somebody go. Now these are light strings, I can do it, so I actually am really grooving on. So this is a great practice, a great practicing loop that you can do. And if you notice, one of the things that makes him so brilliant is his ability to be able to solo and play and comp for himself, which is something that is an acquired skill, and you should definitely make that part of your practice schedule. So in this next clip, this is great because if you've never seen John use the whammy bar, he really does a nice explanation of how you can pretty much start using it in your playing. For myself, it's not something that's unfamiliar because I've been following Jeff Beck and Scott Henderson for years. The way that Scott told me that I should set up my guitar is that if I pull all the way back on the whammy bar, the G string should go up a major third to B. So that's something that you might want to think about doing. You don't have to have it so it goes up that far, but that's how I have mine, and it kind of sets the parameters for how far I can push it down and how far I can pull it up. So there you have it. Let's check out what John's doing.
I like a tremolo set so that when you pull up, it gets to about a half step. So instead of going, you can go. As opposed to. Now inside of that, there's two ways to do it. Because it's a spring and it's floating, that's what they call a floating tone, you can actually snap it and get that, which means it's going before it settles in. Or you can go, which means you don't let it fall out of your hand. Or, and now, you heard me go, I can go. Okay, I can do it like that with my finger, or I can go. And that's where you get sort of these John McLaughlin, Jeff Beck things out. Right? So you can do that.
So I wanted to show you quickly what I meant by having the bar set up so you can pull the G string up to a B, which is a major third. So that's kind of roughly a major third. Another thing is when you have a traditional Fender bar, sometimes these whammy bars are in need of some whammy bar Viagra, or better, some plumber's tape. And the way I play with it is I play with it in my hand like this, and you can get a lot of the same sounds that John was getting. Now doing that vibrating kind of is a little bit more difficult because as soon as the bar falls down, it changes the balance with everything, and you don't have the weight of the bar versus the springs in this sort of configuration. So the plumber's tape would definitely help if that is the effect that you're going for, and hey, have fun with it. So this next wee segment is going to give you easily a month's worth of work. There's so much nuance and so much character in the way that John embellishes his notes here. You just have to check it out. Get to work. There's a lot to study.
Oh, here's another way that you can you can do a pitch. So I'm going to show you all the ways that you can add a half step to a lick. So the first way is just fretting it, right? Or you can bend it. You can do this with an A bar. Or you can tap it. Right? I'm a big fan of tapping right there. Now, most people who tap all the time. When you know how to tap a little bit and you throw it in just as a taste, it's great. Same thing with the whammy bar. Now, it's very hard for guitar players to get their head around having the option of whammy bar and not using it every time. I'm just as guilty as any guitar player in the world of having it here and reaching for it. And you can tell that you're too stuck on a whammy bar by switching guitars to one that doesn't have one, and your hand is going for a whammy bar that's not there. You can also tap after a bend, which I really, really like. That means now we're at the 5 chord, now we're in the E. I missed it, right?
So on this last and final clip, you're going to hear John doing what he does great. His vibrato, his connection to his notes, his soul, his feeling. But it's not only what he's playing. Listen to what he's saying. And I think that that's going to give us an insight to how John kind of plugs into the world. And of course, it's that kind of plugging in that has probably been a huge part of him writing these massive songs that have been loved internationally. I think it's something really to pay attention to, because one thing that's undeniable about John Mayer is he connects. And he connects with people who play guitar, and he connects with people who just love good music that really hits them in the soul. And that's an important thing to look at. And it's an important aspect to strive towards. And if we do that, not only will we be making our music better, but we'll probably be making the world better too.
I would play it and I went, and I could feel that. And that would have felt like, hey, why are you so festive right now? There's some shit going on in the world. And then I started to access that feeling of so many people helping and so many people offering assistance and aid and comfort to other people, that all of a sudden, like, I could think about a doctor, a nurse, medical worker. And I realized it's going to be all right. Now, a lot of you guys see me guitar, you go, oh, that's right, he plays the guitar. I do play the guitar. And I've been able to find it with like great gratitude and like strength. And it's there again, you know? Of the whole world, but I'm playing from like the spirit of people really coming through, and so music's going to start flowing again, and I want to thank people for getting music flowing.
So if you enjoyed this lesson, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and also it'd be great to actually do some lessons with you. So do hit me up for that. I am available and I'm at your service. I love doing this, and it'd be great to accompany you on your musical journey. So until next time, see you guys.